From RTV6 Sports, it's time for some Monday afternoon quarterbacking on Horseplay.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Week 16 of Horseplay coming to you as we do live from Palomino to break things down. This could be either the quickest show we've had all season or the longest show we've had all season. I don't know which it is, but anyway, hey, welcome everybody, Week 16. The great Jim Sorgi joins us to help break things down. Mike Chappell from the IndyChannel.com as well. Brad Brown's going to be along in just a bit. Corey Curtis from the ABC station down in Nashville, Tennessee. As we look ahead to the regular season finale coming up Sunday down in Nashville in a 1 o'clock kick as the Colts wrap up their regular season and can begin to look to the playoffs. So, how we doing, boys?
Good.
My question was whether the sun would come up today, and I'm not sure it has.
It's as gloomy as the game was outside, huh?
It was a rough one. It was a rough one to watch, obviously. But listen, going into that game, we were facing an uphill battle to begin with. I mean, Dallas needed to win to clinch the NFC East.
Right.
Obviously, it was we're not resting players, but we're resting players if they're injured. Who is that? Who's not that? We got some replacement guys in there, some starters. Really nothing to play for. Let me tell you, human nature says that when you're chasing something, when you're going after something, you go after it harder than if you're just doing it because.
And if you hear all week how this game doesn't mean anything, the team's not playing for anything,
right?
Doesn't that, I mean, I know they're all professional, they're all getting a paycheck, but when you hear stuff like that.
But like you said, it's human nature, but it should be human nature that when you get punched in the face, you don't say,
you answer?
Thank you, sir, may I have another one. You should buckle up and stop the bleeding somehow, which I wish I had seen more fight.
Right.
Because they made it look awful easy for Dallas.
Well, I thought we shot ourselves in the foot.
No question.
A ton. I mean, the penalties, the taunting penalty gave him a touchdown. The miss, the fake punt where we don't catch gives them another touchdown. And then the offensive penalties, it seemed like we do something good on offense, there'd be a penalty.
Big play to Kobe Fleener, hold it. Right.
Then we have Dwayne Allen.
Yeah.
Dwayne Allen wide open down on the right sideline, on the Dallas sideline, and that's a play. Luck has some pressure. He has to throw it short. Dwayne Allen has to come back for the ball. He can't get there, and then he's banged up. He's got to come out. He doesn't come back in the game. So it's just, I mean, it was a snowball going downhill in the wrong direction.
I'm only saddened by the fact that it takes this kind of game to get Sorgi dressed up for a show like this.
Maybe he's going to a funeral. I don't know. Hope you're not. That'd be a bad joke.
Not going to a funeral, obviously, but I do look good. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, looking sharp, man. Looking sharp.
Some things in life you just got to dress up for, and I thought this show was something I had to dress up for today.
Chappell and I, as the show's gone, we dress down. You're dressing up as the season goes on.
We dress for the occasion.
I'll wear PJs next week if you want me to.
There you go.
I like that.
There you go. Footies?
Footy PJs.
Ooh,
why not? Zip it
There
up.
you go.
Would you have the footies? The one piece?
The onesie?
Yeah, the onesie. There you go.
Why are we talking about
This show's gotten weird all of a sudden. Hey, take a look at the final once again. As if you... I don't know how many people actually stuck around for the whole thing yesterday. That's the thing.
I had to.
I was there.
Yeah, 42-7. We all watched it as the Colts fall to 10-5. Dallas clinches the NFC East, as Jim mentioned. They were playing for something yesterday. Matt Hasselbeck, who would have thought he'd be the leading stat getter for the Colts?
Quarterback controversy.
Quarterback controversy. Like Jimmy Clausen and Jay Cutler out in Chicago. Speaking of which, when's the last time the Chicago Bears game was way more interesting than the Indianapolis Colts game?
Yeah.
But that's the scary thing.
I do think we would have played a better game if we would have just said, "Hey, we're resting our starters," or "Hey, we're playing everybody."
But they didn't. But the only guy that they quote rested was really Ty, and I don't think that was a rest. I think the hamstring's not quite right.
Well, I think you rested Gosder too.
You think he could have gone?
I think in a playoff game,
yes.
Ty plays.
I think in a playoff game, Gosder plays.
But he needs to get healthy. He's been hurt all year. But beyond that, I mean, Joe Wright isn't ready. Hugh Thornton's not ready.
And I can't say the defense played bad. They gave up 42 points. Yes, I get that. Des Bryant kind of, won the one-on-one matchup with our corners, Jason Witten. But they were on the field 11 and a half minutes longer than our offense was on the field.
Right.
Our defense, when they played bad this season, or the assumption they played bad is because they've been on the field much longer because our offense cannot stay on the field. And it was the exact same thing yesterday.
Well, but then sometimes you need to get out the field on your own.
Yeah.
Although the way the offense is going, that just means
you're
you're going to get back out there. So that's why you wish when the game almost starts getting away from you, somebody steps up.
Yeah.
But they had the chance. The very first drive, Jarrell Freeman, great play.
Great play.
Out in the and then you taunt. I mean, why? You can argue whether that's a ticky-tack foul, but that's the point of emphasis. They're not going to allow that.
Well, I would have loved to have seen the game. If that penalty doesn't get called, we get the ball. Maybe we can do something on offense.
Right.
If we get the lead in that game, I think it's a different game.
Well, and then if you get that play and then you get the fake punt, I mean, it's if, but the game doesn't get away from you so quickly.
Well, you don't need the fake punt, and you don't need some of the other things if you don't get the taunting penalty. That I think that's kind of where we're going. I mean, you do the fake punt because you're down 7-0. You go 3 and out. You don't want to give them the ball with good field position because you don't want to go 14-0. So you think you get some momentum back. You throw the fake punt in there, which would have worked. It would have worked. It wasn't a ball that Pat overthrew or tried to lead him down the field to get a big play. It was just
had a parachute on it, didn't it?
It was just kind of coming down at him, and you could see him he went to catch the ball and he went to turn up the field and run with it, and that's when he dropped it, and then the snowball just went crazy.
But I think here is the question: should Pat have even called that fake? You backed up at that, what was it, 19-yard line?
19-yard line.
Do you even do that?
Well,
Because of where you are. If you do it at the 50, okay. Do you call that at the 19?
I think so. I think
you
it's
think
because
so? You like the call?
It's something they worked on. It's something they practiced.
If we get this look, if they come off,
the gunners
our
are coming and they look like they're coming. You're gonna throw the fake in there, and because it works so perfectly, it's just like the onside kicks. I mean, the onside kicks you call them because you have a look.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're calling them because.
Yeah, it was the first quarter. Was it 7-0 in Houston?
Yes.
And you do it right away because you get the look, and that's what you.
But you're also up 7-0.
I agree, but you're on the road. I don't know. It's hard. It's a bad call because it doesn't work. If it works, is it a great call?
It's a genius call, right?
Let's go back to the Super Bowl in 2009 when Sean Payton calls the onside kick, and it's a great call because they make it. Well, if they don't, is he the bonehead of all time? Because maybe the Colts run away with it. So it's difficult. Just catch the ball.
Yeah.
But so many things went wrong yesterday. My main concern is you've got Tennessee on the road this week. You've got X number of things to fix. How do you approach it? You don't want to put too much into the game. Use it for a tune-up and play your starters and try to get some crispness. But you don't want to go into the playoffs having lost at Dallas, which, okay, Dallas is a quality team. Tennessee hasn't won since they've beaten Kansas City
straight,
and Jacksonville. That's it. So that's a tough. I think they got a tough situation. How do you approach this game? You don't want to go in there getting beaten by Jacksonville or Tennessee on the road in the last game. It sent a really bad message.
But I felt like you're in the same situation this week you were last week. I mean, we're going out there to win, but if guys are banged up, we're going to keep them out. I mean, that list is probably longer this week. I mean, you're almost better
with Allen and who else got the ankle?
You're almost better to not sit on the fence and just say, "Hey, we're playing," or "We're resting." You're almost better doing that than saying, "Hey, we're going to go out there and see how it goes." And
isn't that what you guys did when you were here? I mean, you knew going into a couple of those last games, Arizona and Tennessee, we're going to let Peyton start and get his streaks. But you're going to play, so you prepare so you're going to play.
Well, it was you knew you were going to play. You didn't know how much you were going to play. It was you're in the game until we pull you out of the game, but you knew you were coming out at some point. And it always ended up being Peyton would play the first series and then go sit down and then not play the rest of the game. But knowing I was going to play allowed me to prepare to play, and that's why those were good games.
So how much does Matt know going into that game that he's going to maybe play? Probably not a lot.
I don't think Matt thought he was going to play at all yesterday.
Right. I would agree with that.
And then he goes in there and plays.
So how do you approach it this week? Do you say, okay, listen, Andrew, you're going to have a series. We're getting you out of there, and Matt's going to play. It seems like you said, it's better if you know you're going to play 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters, and then the guys around you know what's going on.
Yeah, and especially you're not going to get the bye. So I think you do that. I think, hey, guys, you're going to play. You're going to play a series or two. You're going to come sit down. We're going to get you some mental rest. We're going to get you some physical rest. And we're going to be more of 100% mentally and physically, maybe not in terms of playing at the pace and the
right.
But at the risk of losing to Tennessee.
But here's the thing. I think I'm with Chap on this. I think you go full bore into this game, have luck, play it. But if you take care of business, though, this game's over at halftime anyway, right? Against this team?
Against Charlie Whitehurst,
so?
I would hope so. I mean, Tennessee's playing for the number 1 seed or number 1 pick. They're second right now. I mean,
so they want to lose.
They want to lose. So it's tough. I see the thing about wanting to be healthy. The last thing you want is to have Luck or whomever else. Anthony Costanzo get dinged up,
right,
and then not ready.
But I don't think it's going to happen against this team.
Well, let's call it this. What if you give Luck 2 series? He goes out there and scores 2 touchdowns. Then you got a 14-0 lead. Make the switch. I mean, let's go. Right. I mean, let's be smart about this. It's not about. I just the way the guys are playing. I think they need a mental, physical rest right now. I think some of the guys are pressing a little bit because of the issues we're having on offense and some on defense too. And I think these guys just need to relax for a couple of days and get their minds right.
But don't you want to come out of this game feeling good about things?
Well, you want to feel good or you want to feel healthy? That's 2 different things.
I want to feel good mentally and physically than I do having.
If you're feeling healthy, then you're feeling good. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, then having 11-5 record.
All right, I got you. Brad Brown is standing by, Skyping from parts unknown. I always love this game to figure out where he is.
Keystone.
Is he? Are you going to visit Santa?
No, I probably should. I'm out doing some Christmas shopping. As it turns out, though, concert tickets perhaps are a solid option.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
I'm 2 blocks away. We probably could have run a cable over here, but who knows? There's some quality concerts coming here in 2015. How about Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band?
Well, I could take
How about Neil Diamond coming in April?
Oh, Neil Diamond.
I saw him back in the day.
Yeah. Mellencamp's here in August.
Yeah, see there, he signed me up for that. I like that.
Seeger's one of my favorites. He's a Michigan guy. Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Good. I got something for everybody then. This is going to be really easy. Hey, look, though, the other cool thing I found, look at this. Da-da-da-da. Look at that sitting over there.
Oh, that's the big Indy car they're going to drop on New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah, here, I'll walk you over here and give you a look at this thing. They just unveiled it today.
Hang on, you got a thumb over the camera. Hang on.
Look out, here it is. There you go. I got fat hands. Thanks, Seth. So there you go. We'll see how much of this I can do without really seeing what I'm doing on that. There you go. Down, down, down. There it is. There it is.
Hey, do we know, again, this is going to happen on New Year's Eve on Georgia Street. They're going to drop the Indy car to bring in the new year. Is this like a slow drop? Or they're not going to like drop
They're going to push it off the side of the building.
Push it off the side of the building. That's right.
They're going to have Takuma Sato drive it around the corner and see what happens. There you go. See, that's funny.
Take Dario on the outside.
Yeah, I think it's one of those 30-second or 60-second drops. They'll have a countdown and a whole big whoop-de-doo to go with it.
They got a champagne sponsor, so you know something's going right there.
So the party's going well. But anyway, this thing's pretty cool. It's got logos of other TV stations that I'm trying to avoid at this point as best as I can.
What?
So, yeah, I know.
What
it's not us.
Oh, it's channel TTV.
It's Channel 4, yeah. TTV's all over this
They're
thing.
trying to do something just to get people to watch them on New Year's Day. I get it. Yeah.
I got the sneak peek of the new logo, wink, wink, wish, not wish anymore, right there, too. So,
CBS,
anyway.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah, CBS 4. Yeah, they got an eye with the thing. It's kind of weird. So, but anyway, there you go. That's what I found down there.
So what did you do in the second half yesterday, Brad?
That was the last 3 quarters.
Wow. Let's see.
What happened there?
What we did after halftime, we started thinking about what we're having for dinner.
Yeah, okay.
We got moving on with that. I wrote the other half of the show for Sports Extra that wasn't Colts last night. Yeah, and we were just baffled by the whole thing, frankly.
It was baffling.
Again, you want to try to figure out what went wrong, and I don't know whether it all starts with the offensive line. I'm really concerned about the offensive line, and I have been for a while, because right guard and right tackle I thought Xavier Nixon struggled mightily, and not just the penalties.
That was one of the worst performances by an offensive lineman I've seen in years for the Colts.
And somebody simply has to explain to me why A.Q. Shipley, I don't want to make him Jeff Saturday, I'm not, but how he's not an option to play right guard or center and then let Khaled Holmes play right guard. I don't understand that.
I thought Cal did a nice job earlier this season when he played right guard.
It's interesting you say that because, Khaled Holmes did a great job when he came in at guard, and then they started him at center yesterday. He struggled a little bit on a few plays, and it was weird to see that. I wonder if Jonathan Harrison's going through something, that they sat him down. I don't know, but I did think he played really well at guard, and to take him from guard to center and give him the duties of identifying the defense and setting the line and the protections and stuff like that was surprising to me.
I have to think AQ had to egg one of the major guys' houses Jim Irsay or Ryan. Something's gone on there that he can't even play. And again, I don't want to make him out as being the savior, but when you need some stability right now with the injuries, I just think he'd be a guy to settle things down until you get, I don't know, is Hugh Thornton going to be an option when you get to the playoffs? He's going to be missed a month, so it's a dilemma they got to figure out.
And Xavier Nixon, I mean, the penalties that he was called
2-on-1 drive.
Yeah, and they were just drive killers. I mean, they're just, you get a big play, you get a holding. You get a big play, you get a off the ball, legal formation. I mean, it's just, it was so hard to watch yesterday. I just can't explain what I was going through in the booth.
Will they come in today and will they look at film? I mean, or is that one you just say, man, we can't find the video for that game, and you move on? Do you take something from that, or was it so globally bad you just move on?
No, you're going to do something. I don't know if you look at the film, but I think, whether it's the coaches or the veterans, the captains of this team, I think you got to pull your sides of the ball in and say, let's have a mandatory, maybe a players only meeting. Let's get down to the bottom of things. Let's talk it out a little bit, figure it out. But you're going to come in for treatment today. You're going to come in to lift weights, and then the schedule's going to flip because Christmas is obviously Thursday, so they'll practice tomorrow and Wednesday, have Thursday off, and then a normal Friday. So I don't think they'll keep them long today, but I do think they'll some of the guys hold a meeting and say something.
You know what? Nothing good comes of a players-only meeting. Over the years, are you serious? When's the last time you were a part of a players-only meeting?
Well, we didn't have to have players.
See, there you go.
You didn't get the pants on national TV by Dallas and New England and Denver.
No, there was times where we had, at the end of a meeting, we would ask the coaches to leave, and then it was just the players.
So a little come to Jesus between everybody.
Let's talk through some things. Let's figure it out. Let's get on the same page before it kind of festers into something bigger.
They had one back in the day when Dickerson was here, and they were playing terrible, and Eric, the leader, brought them together, and we got to do this. He goes out to Buffalo and fumbles like 3 times.
That's right.
So you got to pick your spots and pick the people who call them.
Is Brad still with us? Hey, Brad, what did you think? We had a debate here on the fake punt. What were your thoughts on that?
Michael Grady and I were sitting there watching that first part of the game, and I think Michael made the better comment, was that it almost felt like the Colts were playing with house money at that point. Like they said, you know what? It's the kind of game we can give it or take it. Let's just run a play like this, see what happens, throw it out there. Let's just throw all the chips on the table, like all in, right out here and see what they come up with and take a shot at it. There might come a time later on, be it that wild card game or somewhere here at the end of this, where they need that play, where they got to run something like that. And I think, like you guys were talking about a couple minutes ago, the fact that they practice it, Chappell's pointed that out, they practice that play.
Sure.
They know they've got it. Why not take a chance at it and see what happens? Because at that point, they really didn't have a whole lot. Not that they were willing to throw that game out, like they didn't want it or didn't need it, but in the grand scheme of things, like, you know what, let's go for something like that and see what comes out of it, because we can.
I don't know. I just, again, maybe if they complete the pass, it's totally different. I didn't have a problem with it because, again, if you practice it and if we get this look, it's automatic. It's automatic.
Well, Coach said they've been practicing it since camp, and he said Dewey McDonald's caught that ball 1,000 times. It just so happened he didn't catch the one on national TV. It's, it is.
I tell you what, I feel bad for the kid too.
Yeah, he's a great special teams player. He's made special teams plays up and down the field all year, and then when the spotlight is on him.
Maybe this is why he's a safety and not a wide receiver.
There's a reason he's on special teams, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. All right, what's the rest of the day like for you, Brad? What does a single guy on a Monday before Christmas do in Indianapolis?
Well, he's got to finish off the Christmas shopping because he's done exactly this much so far. So it's kind of the adventure begins. I got the list ready to go. I'm on the clock. I got places to be. I got things to pick up, and we're going to try and make it happen all at once right here.
Don't you hate it when they move what date Christmas is every year? I mean, you just woke up today and say, oh, darn, it's Thursday.
Unbelievable. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, it's going to be the 25th this year? It seems like it was a day earlier or later or something last year. I don't know. Wednesday, Thursday, I don't know. I'll just show up at home. And
I need 2 Seeger tickets, please.
Yep, 2 Seeger for Chap.
All right.
I'll take 2 for Mellencamp.
All right.
Just get a suite for all of them.
Oh, just get a suite
for all of them, and we'll all go.
The one I see Disney on Ice is coming here in a month, Dave Furst. That's got.
Guarantee I'll be taking the girls. Yeah.
You'll be out.
I'll be
You're in
there.
on that.
The crazy thing is they serve beer at Disney on Ice, which is just kind of awkward,
It's
you
to,
know?
it's to
No,
give
no,
us something.
no.
You know?
You can get a beer with a sippy cup for your daughter.
That's right.
They have to.
It's one for the
you put a lid-
dads.
You get a lid on that when you
One
get
for
that
the
at Disney
dads.
on Ice.
It comes with a
Get a
straw.
sippy lid, a straw.
Crazy straw. Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Twisted
All right.
straw.
Nice.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thanks, Brad Brown.
You guys too. We'll see you. Have a good one.
I'm serious. I need 2 tickets for speaker. I'm not kidding.
Two? Well, we'll see.
He's got a corporate credit card. Run with it, man. Run with it. All right, Brad Brown. Again, Corey Curtis from WKRN down in Nashville. He'll be joining us here momentarily.
What? We talk about the Colts. How good did Dallas look, though? I mean, where do you think they can go from here? I mean, obviously right now, they're sitting at a 3 seed. You know,
Are they good enough to play in Phoenix?
Is their defense good enough?
I don't know
That's
if the
what I wanna
defense.
ask
I
you.
love the running game.
You got to love their offense.
Witten's not putting up the great numbers, but boy, third down,
He gets it done.
he just 3rd and 7. You just want to say, okay, let's move him.
And obviously, here we go again with the tight end on the linebackers and the DB debate. I mean, DeQuell Jackson, though, he's not the guy to be guarding Julius Thomas, Heath Miller.
Freeman's better, but then he's had some issues. I probably the one guy I've been most disappointed with this year is Jarrell Freeman, and not the taunting penalty, but last year he made plays that made a difference, and you noticed him. This year, not so much. I don't know if he's been banged up injury-wise. He had some early, but he's the guy that you really want him to step up bigger, and he really hasn't this year.
Well, we're a little off. You try to disguise coverages so the quarterback doesn't know what's going on. And I thought a couple times yesterday we disguised the coverage, and because we were bringing a blitz or a linebacker on a dog or something like that, and then we have to run out and cover a guy. But we were giving. You can hold that looks only so long, and then you got to get out to your position. It just looked a couple times. Jason Witten just ran 5-7 yards, turned around, and caught the ball. When our linebackers tried to cover him from the inside, but it was taking way too long to get out there. I mean, it's okay to be there, but you got to start creeping a little bit because that's your assignment.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Greg Toller got hammered in the media after the game because what Des Bryant did to him. But I mean, a lot of times,
caught a touchdown pass on him too.
But to me, when I watch Toller and Vontae Davis, those guys line up on whatever side they're going to line up.
Right and left.
Some teams out right and left. Right. Some teams out there in the NFL, they'll put their A guy on a Calvin Johnson or whatever.
Or Des Bryant.
Right. So it's a philosophy thing, obviously, defensively. Does it matter? I mean, obviously, if you know Vontae is going to be on the left side, Greg Toller is going to be on the right, if you're the other side, you know, hey, I'm going to put Des Bryant on Greg Toller. If you feel like you've got the matchup there.
They do a good job of moving Bryant around, so maybe that the Colts are a team that you want to know where your guys are, and you don't want to get any miscommunications. But Vontae,
is that advantage offense in situations like that?
Yes, it is. But I think we feel comfortable with both Vontae and Greg Toller. But to your point, they started the game up with Des Bryant in the slot on Darius Butler. He beats him. Then he catches a touchdown on Greg Toller when he's lined up wide right. Then he catches a deep pass, and Vontae gets called for a penalty, and he still catches it when he's lined up wide left. So, I mean, he did his work all across the field.
Equal opportunity abuser.
Yeah. He abused everybody yesterday. He wasn't holding it just to say, I'm going to take advantage of this guy. Yeah. But that is something to the point where if you like that matchup with Des Bryant on a nickel guy, Darius Butler, I mean, you could have lined him up in the slot all game, and he would have been on Darius Butler.
How many teams out there do that, where they just throw the one DB on the left side, the other corner on the right side?
Probably the majority, aren't they?
Well, I do think you're going to have guys that kind of follow people. Remember when Vontae missed the game? We played Cleveland. Toller followed
on
Josh Gordon pretty much the entire game. You get a Richard Sherman. He's going to follow the best receiver on the other team. Revis and Aqib Talib. Those guys are going to follow the best receiver on the other team. Not many teams have two corners like we do that you trust in one-on-one matchup. Are equally as good. Can really shut down somebody. And I think Toller proved that he could do that by taking away Josh Gordon in the Cleveland game.
Right.
But who knows? Maybe if you get a matchup in the playoffs where you say, "Hey, we really think Vontae can really take this guy away."
Then you change it up and you have Vontae.
Cincinnati, you got AJ Green out there. Maybe you want Vontae on them.
But it also helps you not running guys all over the place when teams break the huddle. I mean, he's on the right, he's on the left, instead of saying he's going to cover this guy, he lines up on the left side, you're on the right side, you got to run over, and then you know it's man all the time when they're going with motions and stuff. So it's a tough call.
Speaking of Cincinnati, who they're going to play, the Colts are going to play in the postseason. Take a look at right now, if the season ended today, the seedings for the AFC. This is how it all breaks down. It's the Patriots. They clinch the bye. Broncos can clinch the bye tonight. They're just down the road in Cincinnati. You should go down and see Peyton tonight.
Hang out, see what's up.
If you want to, see what's up. Get you some
Gotta
tickets
get
real
some
quick.
tickets to the game.
That's first and foremost.
You know
right?
the guy. Huh? You know the guy. Get us some tickets. Peyton.
Yeah.
You know, he's probably worried about that bye week. I'll call him after the season.
Bengals are still hanging in there. Pittsburgh clinched a playoff spot yesterday with that win over Cleveland. So,
well, if the Bengals lose tonight, they'll go to the 5 seed, and Pittsburgh will jump to the 3 seed.
regardless, though, the Bengals are in Pittsburgh essentially for the AFC North Championship, right?
Next week, yes.
So that's, I mean,
And then San Diego plays at Kansas City, so if San Diego wins, they're in. Depending on, I mean, they probably can't go any higher than 5 or 6. Kansas City, if they beat San Diego, they can get in somehow. But Baltimore plays Cleveland. Baltimore wins, they're in. I mean, you know how it goes.
Hypothetically, if you're the Colts, who do you want to play?
Baltimore.
You want Cincinnati to, well, what you really want is just.
You want to play Cincinnati.
Well,
I want to play Baltimore.
Cincinnati or Baltimore.
Yeah.
And for that to happen, I mean, you got to think Pittsburgh has a 3 seed, the Colts have a 4 seed. So somehow, some way, the Chiefs got to beat San Diego, Baltimore's got to beat Cleveland, and then Cincinnati and Baltimore would get in as a wild cards.
There's something about having.
I tell you what, it's a hell of a luxury to have, just to be thinking who you want to play in the playoffs. So
there's something about facing Cincinnati who you just demoralized and having to do it again. I mean, I just don't know that they would follow it up that well. Cincinnati played a lot better. I don't trust Andy Dalton. I don't trust Joe Flacco. That's why I just soon play Baltimore. I think that's a team that's maybe the weakest of the group.
But Houston just kicked the crapola out of Baltimore yesterday.
It's the internet. You can say something a little more.
Kicked the shiz.
You can't go that far.
Don't go that far.
Don't go that far. Joe Flacco got pounded
At one
the
point, he
entire
was 3
game.
for 18.
Steve Smith got hurt. Torrey Smith got hurt. I mean, I almost want to play Baltimore right now just because of everything they sustained yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll
Tell you what, though, on the flip side, if you're the Ravens, you're probably thinking, I want to play the Colts.
Oh, they're lining up. They're lining up. And that's again, it's
Baltimore might not beat Cleveland this weekend.
We start making rationalizing why the Colts, they have issues, and these are issues that won't be fixed until free agency and the draft. I mean, you're not going to get the offensive line fixed. I don't think. I mean, maybe you'll get Charles back. Hopefully you get the right guard fixed. I don't whether we had heard in the locker room that there was a chance they were going to go with Colin Holmes at center. But they've got to get that. You can't keep, that's 9 different lineups they've had on the offensive line. You can't do that.
But I'd rather have issues sitting at 10-5
Exactly.
and in the playoffs than 2-13 like the Tennessee Titans looking at the number 1 pick. But I'll tell you what, these division games at the end of the year make this end of the year.
And that's what they've changed with the schedule. It's great
football to watch.
Remember when they didn't have division games towards the end? These things were just being played
And
out.
they were wrapped up 2 weeks ago. You knew exactly where, when, how, what was going to happen. It was.
Well, you also played.
I got to play
13-3 teams too, so that's a little different story. But anyway, speaking of what's up next, again, Corey Curtis from WKRN, the ABC station in Nashville. He'll be joining us here momentarily. But take a look at what is next as the Tennessee Titans play that 1:00 game to wrap up the regular season. The Titans have lost 9 straight. They're 2-13 with wins, as Chap mentioned earlier, Week 1 in Kansas City. I forget how that game went, but
they beat them handily. People are thinking, hey, we got something going here now.
Right.
And then the wheels came off.
And then they lose the next 4 straight. They beat Jacksonville and have now lost 9 in a row.
And now 2-13 them. Tampa's 2-13,
right.
So they're playing for, like Chap said.
And Tennessee's a team where you wonder, okay, we're 2-13, but we've got this to build around. What have they got? I mean, where's their direction? They don't have their quarterback. And
they've got a quarterback,
right?
But not the quarterback,
right?
Well, is Mettenberger? I don't think he's.
It's Whitehurst. Mettenberger's out.
Yeah, but I'm saying is
injury.
Mettenberger your guy for the
And Locker's going to be gone, isn't he?
Yeah.
So at least if you're bad, have a plan. I don't know what their plan is.
Yeah. Charlie Whitehurst.
Is that quarterback in the draft? I don't know.
You see the numbers from Charlie. In a couple games, he's started 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. Mettenberger, again, is out with the shoulder. The running game led by Bishop Sankey. Receiving game, Delaney Walker. Derek Morgan, the defensive end, 6.5 sacks right now for the Titans. Maybe he'll just stay at 6.5. You get one more game to increase that.
And if it increases, you hope it's against Matt Hasselbeck and not, with all due respect to Matt Hasselbeck.
If somebody's going to take it, you want Hasselbeck.
Yeah, that's right. Take a few for the team.
Much rather Sorgi get hit than Manning. Why not?
I remember those days. 12's getting hit. It's okay.
That's all right. He'll be fine. He'll get up.
Corey Curtis from WKRN, the ABC television station. He's covered the Titans for years down there. Joins us on the phone lines. Okay, so the Titans, they want to lose this game, don't they, to get that the number 1 draft pick in May or June?
Well, I mean, I think some of the fans do. The Titans have been pretty adamant that they do not, but I think some of the fans do. Hey, guys, I'll tell you, I don't think it makes a difference because they're not taking a quarterback at 1 or 2 anyway. I think if they do wind up, the head coach loves Mettenberger.
Really?
And, I would be very surprised if it's not Mettenberger next year. Now, there's been the reports.
I was going to say, what if it's Jay Cutler next year?
Yeah, there are those reports that they're looking at him, but my reaction to that is if you're the Titans and you didn't investigate Cutler, I'm not saying trade for him, I say investigate it, then you wouldn't be doing your job. But Cutler is a Wisenhunt style quarterback. He wants that big, strong-armed guy who will stand in the pocket and get destroyed and throw the ball downfield.
I don't know. What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, I just want to, again, the one thing with teams wanting to lose, fans wanting to lose. If I'm a player in the locker room, I think that's a bunch of BS because you may not even be here for that draft pick. So if I'm a player,
absolutely,
you're playing for your roster spot.
They're all offended by that. They're all offended by that question, as they should be. And I don't understand. I'll be honest. I grew up a Chicago Bears fan. I grew up in Chicago, and I never wanted them to lose. If it meant the top pick, I didn't care. I wanted them to win the football game, and I don't understand that thinking because drafting 25th or 28th or 30th hasn't seemed to impact the Patriots or the Colts the last 10 years. They've still managed to be pretty good. You just got to do well with your picks.
Right.
And the Titans Titans have had some stinkers that for one reason or another haven't panned out. Whether it be Vince Young because of all of his obvious problems, or Jake Locker because of his obvious injury problems, or Pat Fan Jones because he knew the police as well as he knew the officials. I mean, they've just their picks at the top have not been good.
Yeah, and to that point, you go back to that draft class where Locker came out of. A lot of teams were reaching for quarterbacks. Christian Ponder, Minnesota was reaching, Jacksonville was reaching with Blaine Gabbert, and then Tennessee obviously with Jake Locker. Now, do you see any way? Not only Jake Locker hurt, Mettenberger hurt. They got a lot of other injuries on this team right now. Is there any way they can give the Colts a game this weekend?
No, there's no way.
You want to think about it a little
bit? I've been saying 2-14 for about 6 to 8 weeks now. There are teams that win and teams that lose, and teams that win find ways to win, and teams that lose find ways to lose. And this is a team that finds ways to lose. They led at Jacksonville 10-0, and at no point were you convinced they were going to win that football game. And that's Jacksonville. All right, they're not good. The Titans are the worst team in the NFL right now, and the Colts coming off the debacle that they had yesterday, what's their motivation? Well, they don't want to go into the postseason with that kind of taste in their mouth, and I don't see the Titans giving them much of a game. Look at the games Charlie Whitehurst has started. He plays kind of like you'd want a backup quarterback to play. He's conservative. He doesn't turn the football over. But they score about 15 to 17 points or 13 to 17 points. And that is not going to be enough to beat the Colts.
Hey, Corey, where did everything go wrong? I'm looking at the list of injured Titans. And you got Locker, Justin Hunter, Michael Oher, Michael Roos, Ryan Schwenke. You've got linebackers, a couple cornerbacks, DBs. Is it more than injuries?
No. I mean, the injuries certainly are a part of it, but this thing started falling apart well before the injury. Obviously, when the quarterback gets hurt, it's an issue, and it kind of avalanched the issue. Jake was very good against Kansas City when they won in the opener, and then he had a bad half and a good half against the Dallas Cowboys. And then when they played the Bengals, he got hurt early in that football game, and their offense struggled. But their defense, this team was extremely flawed on the defensive side of the football from the aspect that they did not address the loss of Alteron Burner. And the two corners that they tried to replace him with have been absolutely horrifically bad. And those guys have been abused all season. And then when you have a quarterback situation, which really gets thrown up in the air, because basically after Jake got hurt the second time against the Browns, Wisenhunt was done with him. And it was at that point he was moving on to Mettenberger. He didn't make that kind of announcement, but that's what he was doing. So he spent the next 3 weeks getting ready. And between benching Locker and trading away Akeem Ayers for, I think, a 6th-round pick, and I believe he's got 4 sacks with the Patriots now and an interception, they're just, people look around and they don't know what's going on. I heard you talking about earlier, what's the direction of this football team? I don't think anybody in the locker room knows what the direction of this football team is. And what their direction needs to be is get the offensive line fixed so that you can have a quarterback standing at the end of football games. Because the way Wisenhunt wants to call games, they need to block and block for a long time.
We've talked in the past that until you get the quarterback situation fixed, you're sort of flailing away. Jake Locker's history there, and I mean he won't be back next year.
No, not at all. And I've always liked Jake. I think he's a good person and a very good athlete. And I think he's had times where he's looked very good playing the quarterback position. But for whatever reason, he is just at a point where he gets hit and he gets hurt. And it's just, we wonder if somebody will take him on as a second-string quarterback next year just because he's been so fragile. You need to count on that guy to get you through a game. If he gets sacked one time and hurt and you're on to your third stringer, that's definitely a situation you don't want. So his career is at a crossroads, and it's very disappointing because it's a guy they gambled on, and obviously I always say he's the kind of guy you like to see succeed in this world. He's an Andrew Luck type. He's a Matt Hasselbeck type. He's that kind of guy, the guy you like, and the guy, he's not a diva, and you want to see him do well. And it's just disappointing that it didn't end well for him.
Hey, Corey, last thing, and I love asking this question, but what is the overall vibe among Titans fans in Nashville? I mean, this was a proud organization. It went to the Super Bowl. It wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was. But
I'll describe it as despair. I mean, the fan base is just in utter despair. Ken Wisenhunt hasn't even completed his first season, and I get calls for his head every single day, and I've been getting them for 5-6 weeks now, because people don't see hope around the corner. They don't see next year being better. I have PSL holders telling me they're not coming back because they don't see the point. Fans don't see things getting better with this football team, and that's a huge, huge problem. And you guys touched about it. Until you get the quarterback situation settled, and until you give the team, fans, a reason to believe in the team, they're not going to. And right now there is no belief in this football team in this town.
Well, the one thing, though, it sounds like despair is one step removed from apathy. When you have apathy, you have a real issue with the pro franchise.
I think apathy's there as well. I think apathy is there as well. Fans were frustrated coming into this season because it's been 4 or 5 years since they've been to the playoffs. But now that they're the worst team in the NFL, they can't believe it. They can't believe that the team is this bad. The roster obviously is not great and it's been hammered by injuries, but this should not have been a 2-win team, especially when you look at the Redskins, the Giants, the Jets, the Jaguars. Some of the teams that are on the schedule that they've lost to all these teams is just absolutely abysmal and embarrassing. And it's an embarrassed locker room right now. It absolutely should be.
All right, so the Colts are going to win by about 40, I think, after all that.
I'll use your money. I'll use your money.
What's the line right now, guys? What's the line?
I haven't heard. I don't know what the line is.
It's got to be 8 to 10. I don't know.
I guess we got to find out. Now, do the Colts have anything to lose? I haven't moved on to that yet. Is there anything at stake for Indy in this one?
Well, they're still playing for a seed.
3 or 4, but
Cincinnati still got to beat Pittsburgh. If Cincinnati beats Pittsburgh, then we'll be the 3 seed. Cincinnati be the 4 seed.
So there's motivation to come in here and win.
The motivation,
depending on
is to not lose to the Titans.
Yeah, well, and we were talking too.
Okay. Well, if that's all they need, then they're good for 3 touchdowns. So
I like it. Hey, Corey, let us know if we can help you out.
7.
Sorry.
Colts are giving 7.
7.
Absolutely. Good luck to you guys this weekend, and certainly good luck in the playoffs. It's the best time of the year.
It is fun. There's no doubt about it. Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
We wouldn't know. So.
Thanks, Corey. Corey Curtis from the
right.
ABC station down in Nashville, Tennessee. WKRM.
This is everything he said is why, to me, it's such a dilemma with the Colts this week. You don't want to go into the playoffs having lost to the Tennessee Titans. I just think it would send such a nasty message in the locker room.
He's more worried about rest.
I'm worried about the guys. I'm worried about the guys than a win on the schedule that doesn't mean anything. All right, what are you gonna say? We swept the AFC South 2 years in a row. Great, good job. I mean, but you want to talk about bad? It's bad in Tennessee. Because I agree. I don't see the where they're going. I don't see the game plan behind it.
Right.
And
it's not like Andrew Luck's sitting there in the draft.
No.
If you've got a quarterback in the draft, Manning, Elway, Luck, okay. But there's no sure thing at all. So,
Jameis Winston, I mean, is he
Vince Young? I mean, who knows?
Is he RG3? He's going to get banged up in a year or two, I mean,
but
there's nothing out there.
Again, the worst thing for a team is for your fans not to care. I mean, it's better for them to be all riled and with pitchforks at the gate, but when they don't care,
they don't even show up.
When they don't, it's a bad situation.
Yeah. Quarterbacks in college right now that are going to be good NFL quarterbacks are few and far between. I mean, Johnny Manziel, look what he's done in his first couple games. I mean, Blake Bortles is doing a decent job. I think he'll be good.
You see something there.
You see something there. But the last couple drafts since the Andrew Luck draft,
I think Mariota out at Oregon's got a shot at being something.
He would scare me to death.
He would.
Really? Just the style they play,
Can it translate? And that's why you see some of these quarterbacks struggle, because the offenses they're running in college are not NFL offenses.
Put him in Philly. Let Chip Kelly have him in Philly, and maybe it works.
Maybe it works. But, I mean, do you get rid of Nick Foles? I mean, Mark Sanchez? Who knows?
So you like the Colts then?
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Let's say Matt Hasselbeck plays 3 quarters. You like the Colts?
I think he's already the second best quarterback on the field Sunday.
He might be the second best quarterback in the division.
Might be.
And he plays the game. He's not going to get himself hit. He's going to I hate using manage the game, but he's going to dink and dunk and get you your first downs and keep the offense on the field, keep the defense on the sideline, and then score points.
Right.
He's going to keep you where you need to be in terms of relatively how the game's supposed to go from a rotation standpoint, so to speak. And I like him. I still like the Colts if he plays.
Right. Okay. Last thing. I have something for you boys. It's the holiday season.
Is that Bob Seger tickets?
This goes. They're not Bob Seger tickets. I apologize. This goes back to open it now. This goes back to a conversation we had earlier this season. So now you can.
So now I get to see it.
It's
Robert Hayes.
Blu-ray edition of the movie Airplane, ladies and gentlemen. So now you have no excuse.
No excuse.
You go right home.
I think
pop it in.
You were out. I think the week he has never seen the movie Airplane.
Yeah, I see that. I couldn't believe it.
Robert
Autopilot
Hayes.
and Roger over and out. I mean, it's just
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh yeah.
I mean, who are these actors?
I just want to say good luck. We're all counting on you. None of this.
Lloyd Bridges.
I
picked a terrible day to quit to give up meth or whatever.
Stop
it is.
sniffing glue.
If I throw some movie quotes out to you, that movies I know, will you know them?
Yes, go ahead right now.
If I said, Merry New Year, what movie is that from?
That was Coming to America.
Trading Places.
Trading Places, you're right. I'm sorry. Same genre.
You know what I remember from Trading Places? 2 things. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, right? Yeah, well, yeah.
I know.
That's very memorable there. Here we go.
When they're on the yacht.
You think of quotes, and I think of...
Looking good, Lewis. Feeling good, Billy Ray. Yes?
Good. Yeah,
okay.
good.
Very good. That's right. There you go.
Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good. Very good.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great week. We're back here next Monday to wrap up the regular season and also to look ahead to round one of the playoffs. Colts are hosting someone.
They're in the playoffs. Feel good about
it. There you go. Always half full with Jim Sorgi. Mike Chappell from the80channel.com as well. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here next Monday live from Palomino and week 17 of Horseplay here on RTV6, the IndyChannel.com, the RTV6 app. Good night.